Do you ever wonder what there is to do in Ohio? Specifically Northeast Ohio, and even more specifically, the Akron area? You wouldn't be any different than anybody else. I'm pretty sure you're just talking to people. The average person sits around during the weekends or sometimes even during the weekdays saying, what is there to do besides the same old stuff we do every single weekend or every single night? Maybe we catch a movie, pre-COVID we'll say, maybe we'll go out to eat, but it's the same old stuff over and over. And a lot of people, whether they're individuals, couples, or families with kids, are always looking for something different to do. Whether you live here in Ohio and you just want to, looking for something to, do, whether you're considering moving to Ohio, relocating to Ohio, or doing anything in Ohio at all, and you're just kind of saying, hey, what is available in this Akron area? The goal of this video is to actually show you a lot more that you can do that's just not the normal stuff. So essentially, I'm going to show you 10 places in the area that, maybe it's kind of your cup of tea, maybe not. But it's going to be places that you would typically not go, or maybe that you didn't even know of. So you can kind of explore a little bit, get to know the city a little bit better. All of these places are generally pretty local, so you're going to actually see, I'll show you on some maps here. Each one I'm actually going to show you location on a map so you understand in proximity to downtown Akron where we're looking at. But by the end of this video, I hope you guys have a pretty good idea exactly what's available to do in Akron besides just the standard stuff. Now there's hundreds of things that you can do, but this is just going to give you 10 ideas that you may not think of that sound like something fun to do. And that's going to be up next, so stay tuned and we'll get moving. What's up, everybody? This is Justin Robleski with High Point Real Estate Group here in Northeast Ohio. If this is your first time to this channel, make sure you click subscribe and click the little bell to get notified for everything that comes up. If you're looking to learn anything about Northeast Ohio, if you want to learn how to eat, sleep, play, or anything what to do in Northeast Ohio, make sure you're subscribed so you'll get notification anytime a new video comes out. I'm going to be doing videos on a weekly basis, so you guys will constantly be updated, and you want to make sure you're notified at all times. If you guys ever need anything when it comes to buying and selling real estate, I constantly get phone calls all the time. People looking to buy in the area, sell in the area, relocate, and pretty much do anything having to do with Northeast Ohio. So if that's you and you're looking for some information and you just need some help with anything, feel free to give me a call, let me know, text message me, email me, my email shows up, or even send the carrier pigeon if you want, whatever works for you. But contact me at any time and I would be glad to get you set up. So, as I mentioned, a little intro to begin with here. We're going to actually go over some awesome things to check out in Akron, Ohio, some different new things to do. I'm not going to take much time, more of an intro, or not much more of an intro here. We'll get started and I'll actually explain each place. I'll tell you a little bit about them as we go, but let's get this thing started. Stan Hywet Hall, located in the northwest Akron area, is probably one of the more popular destinations that people know about in the area. What I found though is, although a lot of people know about it, there's not a huge amount of people that have actually toured it and been to it. What Stan Hywet Hall Gardens is one of the original founders of the Goodyear tire company. It was essentially their estate that they built for their family. What's cool about it is there's a few different things. Things to tour there are the mansion, which is considered one of the largest homes in the entire country. It's a little bit over 64,000 square feet large. They also have a greenhouse that you can tour, and there also is the gardens that you can tour. The gardens are absolutely amazing. What's really nice about this place is a lot of it's outdoors, so you can enjoy it during the nice weather, and then you can also tour the mansion, obviously. But what's really cool is that there's 2 events each year that they hold that are really exciting for my family and I. One is the Easter egg hunt. So every year they do an Easter egg hunt to let the kids go out throughout the gardens, the grounds, and actually just kind of go, meet with the Easter Bunny, learn more about, the history of the house and the grounds, and kind of learn where everything came from, obviously. And 2, they get to have a lot of fun, finding eggs and going around the gardens. But the thing is that event is so popular that you literally have to book it months in advance. So if you're trying to take your kids there, if you have kids to take, I would highly recommend trying to book that at the end of the year, if not, in January sometime. The other thing that they actually, or the other event that they actually do there is kind of like a Christmas spectacular. So if you book it months in advance, same thing. It's not as bad. You can still get tickets a little bit closer. But the Christmas spectacular, they actually pretty much decorate the entire grounds of the property. So they have all these Christmas lights specials and just different events going on. They've had Santa Claus there for the kids. And it's just a really unique experience, and it doesn't feel like, you know, you're trying to cram something or trying to do something. It's just a really cool experience to take your family and just kind of browse around, go at your own pace, and really see what, you know, the estate is all about. The Akron Zoo is one of my family's favorites. Every year we get a season pass there, so we can visit as many times as we want, and they have many different events throughout the year. When you go there, it's not what you would consider like a larger zoo, so it'd be kind of a smaller zoo comparably. But the cool part is they actually rotate different events, like different specialized animals that come in. They rotate them out, so you don't get used to just the same old stuff over and over. You get to see different species throughout your visits. One of my favorites is, a lot of people don't even know what this is, but it's called a capybara. Essentially, it's a giant rodent, essentially like a giant, we'll call it like a giant rat for the most part. It's part of the rat family. Actually, I'll have a picture pop up right here so you can actually see what they look like. In this picture, they actually really look pretty darn clean. But for the most part, they like to go swimming in the water, and they actually tend to use the bathroom in that water and then like to go swim in it. So they don't look near as clean as what you'd think. But to me, it's just a cool animal. I've always told my wife if I could get one and just keep it as a pet, I would, even though I actually hate rats and mice. So go figure. But just like I mentioned, that, you know, in other places that there's certain events that they have. Each year, two of our favorite events that we've taken kids to is they have what's called Boo at the Zoo, to where if you're a member, the tickets are a little bit cheaper. If not, they charge a little bit more. But Boo at the Zoo is during, obviously, Halloween time, to where you actually can take your kids. They dress up in their costumes. They bring their buckets. They'll get, you know, special tickets, little prizes. But they actually get to tour around the entire zoo. So you get to see the animals are out. They have the animals out at all times still. And they have all these different tents and stations set up to where the kids can go trick-or-treating and actually get candy and treats from all these stations. Depending on how it goes, pre-COVID, there was probably a good, I don't know, 20 to 25 stations to where kids could get like candy, drinks, things like that. Since COVID went through, that was very limited. There's probably 10 to 12 spots. In addition to that, they also have, if you guys just want to spend a day there, they have places that you can go into, you know, for you need heat, air conditioning, whatever. There's also cafeterias there. The food is okay. Highly don't recommend the pizza. It literally tastes like cardboard. But the other event it's called Wild Lights. So it's actually during Christmas time. So same thing as, you know, other places. They have a big old Christmas display. They keep the animals out, the ones that can. You don't see them as much because they'll stay inside. They'll essentially just want to stay warm, obviously. But they have lights everywhere. I am very, very impressed with how they do it. There's actually a hill that you can climb up. Don't worry, you can take strollers, whatever. You can get to the top of the hill and kind of overlook the entire zoo. So they have lights everywhere you go, pretty much on every display. And for being a smaller zoo and the budget constraints they have, I'm very impressed with their Christmas spectacular thing that they do. And the most important thing is if you do have kids, when you're visiting the zoo, they have a carousel right in the middle of it. My son has ridden the carousel probably, I would be guessing over the past year or two, we've probably ridden that thing 100 times. So he likes to get on a lot. There's also a train that you can go on the top of the hill. There also can feed animals, so you can feed farm animals, things like that. I highly recommend there's certain passes you get where you have like unlimited carousel rides. It's actually cheaper than just buying one each time. And then you can buy packages where you get a lot more food to actually feed the animals as well, to have them, you know, have that better experience to get to do a little bit more frequently. But considering how many times we go, if you get a season pass, it literally, I think if you go more than 2 times, you've already paid for the season pass for the whole family. So it's actually a really good deal if you want to go frequently just to get some exercise as an individual, family, couples, whatever, just to spend some time together. The Akron Civic Theatre is just an amazing piece of history. It's actually located right in downtown Akron. I believe it was built late 1920s, so we're approaching 100 years on it. About 20 years ago, they did a renovation that was over $10 million, so they did some really nice updates that need to be done, and kind of just wanted to keep that historic appearance to it, but also modernize it a little bit as well. But it's not a huge theater, but I'll show you some pictures will pop up here shortly. But it's absolutely extravagant inside. I've seen many different things there, from like small plays, musical performances. There's even been some comedy shows there. So I mean, they have all sorts of flavoring, you know, that you can see there. You know, any type of show you want to see as well, and it gives you more of that cozy feeling instead of doing, you know, gigantic areas to where you have, you know, buildings that can fit, you know, 10,000 people in there. I think the capacity is only like 2,400 or something like that. But if you're just looking for something different, you don't necessarily want to go see a movie at the movie theater, but you want to kind of go see a play, or you want to see a, you know, music performance or anything, you know, anything along those lines, you can get it pretty darn cheap. Tickets are relatively inexpensive there. They've had lots of kids events there. They've done Paw Patrol there, I believe. A couple other things I can't remember. I think Sesame Street has been there, like old school style. But a lot of times, because it's in downtown, right near the University of Akron, the college will actually put on a lot of stuff, and you can do things for, I've seen it as low as like $7 a ticket, where you can do things really cheap. But it's a great experience. Right when you do that, there's some nice restaurants in the area that you can go to for dinner if you're going to do like a matinee time, like a lunch. They got some great food in the area, but it's right in downtown, so you'll see a lot of stuff in the area, and it's just a really cool experience. It's something you can do many, many different times, and do many things there, and never really get bored with it. And most people I know in the area have been there at least once, you know, or twice in their life, you know, living here in this area. But give it a try. I think you'll really enjoy the experience. One of my all-time favorite places to go in Akron is called Lock 3. It's actually located right in downtown Akron, so it's near pretty much everything. What they do at Lock 3, it's kind of like an outside venue essentially. They have tons of different festivals there. Throughout the summer, there's live music constantly playing. They've had big children's activities that they've set up there. One of our favorite things to do there each year is they have it's what's called the Rib, White, and Blue Festival. So they'll actually set up kind of like a carnival. So they'll have a lot of rides, a lot of games that kids can play and things like that. And then they'll have all these different vendors that sell ribs. So you got your pulled pork, your ribs, burgers, things like that. Like pretty much grilling out, but it's all about ribs. So they compete to be considered like the best rib vendor. And what we like to do every year is around the 4th of July each year, when they have this festival, is we'll go try 3 or 4 different rib places and kind of just, everybody as part of the family will judge them, see what we think is the best. It can get kind of crowded, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. There's a lot of people there, but you can still move around a decent amount and have your space. Once you kind of get your food, you go into like this green area where you got the grass and everything, and you'll see a giant stage. I'll actually pop up a picture here you can see. You'll see a giant stage where they'll play live music. There's orchestras, there's tribute bands. They've done jazz festivals, all sorts of stuff there that you can actually watch. And then at the end of the night during that festival, they actually will, you know, celebrate, you know, 4th of July and, you know, our independence, and they'll actually have a giant fireworks display. It'll go right over the city of Akron. Really cool experience. By Lock 3, there's lots of festivals that happen, so it's not just the Rib, White, and Blue one, obviously. But by Lock 3 is the University of Akron, so we're still in the downtown area. We also have a minor league baseball park right by, so you know, you can go catch a baseball game if you want. There's other stuff down there to visit as well, but everything is kind of like walking range, so you can walk pretty much everywhere you want in there and park, spend the day there. We usually go there for about 6 or 7 hours, you know, during festivals, but they have Italian festivals. I've seen a Hungarian festival. There's all sorts of good stuff for just about everybody there. If you're an outdoor person, this next one is going to be right up your alley. It's Portage Lakes State Parks. And what Portage Lakes State Parks is about 2,400 acres of multiple bodies of water in multiple land masses. So if you're big into swimming, fishing, camping, boating, jet skiing, anything along those lines, this one will be awesome for you. Anybody I know that's actually been to the Akron area or lives in the Akron area, obviously, has heard of Portage Lakes. The nice part about the Portage Lakes is, one, you can visit a lot of the parks, go hiking and things along those lines, and they're for free, so there's no cost to them. And two is, say for example you're a boater or a jet skier and just want to be out on the water all day, 8, 10, 12 hour day. If you don't pack enough food or whatnot, there are multiple spots that you can actually stop at on the road, or not the road, but on the waterways, to where you can actually fill up gas, obviously, and there's multiple restaurants you can stop at. I know people that'll actually hit up the lakes at 10 a.m. and won't come home until 10 o'clock at night, and they have a fantastic time doing so. So, if you're an outdoors person, like to get out in nature, like to go boating, like to be on the waters, I don't know of anybody that actually lives in that area that hasn't actually gone out at least a couple times per year, especially just because it's great to be out there during the nice warm weather in Ohio, since we only get it for a few months a year. But I would highly recommend you check them out, regardless of what's for you, the boating, the fishing, the hiking, whatnot. Anything you can imagine outdoors is available. Also, one last thing is, if you're a golfer, there are multiple courses located around the Portage Lakes as well. So great experience for that also. Next up, you have the Goodyear AIRDOCK. Now this one's a little bit different than everything else I've shown you so far. And the reason why is all the different things that you've seen are activities you can essentially do. The Goodyear AIRDOCK is not something you could really tour or do anything special with. It's just a giant hangar where they hold the Goodyear blimp, which most people are familiar with the Goodyear blimp. But what's really unique about it is the inside of it. The floor space alone is the equivalent of 8 NFL football fields, so absolutely massive inside. And what's also a unique trait about it is that each side actually has a slide-up door, a roller door up and down, that weighs 600 tons per door, so absolutely unfathomable how much that weighs. The last thing is a lot of people don't know this, but Goodyear actually partnered for a little while to where they, every so often, not all the time, but every so often, they actually partner with like an Airbnb to where you can actually rent out the Goodyear blimp and sleep on it for the night. So they'll take you out, you get to do some touring around town or wherever you want to go. They'll take you to a nice dinner, nice lunch or whatever, and then you actually sleep on it for the night. So what a cool experience. I do know a couple people have had the experience to actually fly in the blimp, and they said literally it's nothing compared to anything you've ever had. It's not like an airplane. It literally is just like you're floating in air around town, and it's quite an awesome view the way they have the blimp set up. But I would go check it out. You probably won't be there more than 10-15 minutes at the most. You might have some issues like getting in with security, but you at least see the hangar, and if they're bringing it out, you can actually see the blimp itself. It's way bigger than you can imagine once you're up close in person. But check it out if you get the chance. Akron Children's Museum is located right in downtown Akron, so it's near everything. I didn't actually see this museum for the first time until roughly about a year ago. We actually had some friends that flew in from out of town, and we were just looking for something to do with our kids, and we decided to look them up and found it was a really cool experience. Actually, it's probably a bit more than a year ago because of the whole COVID situation. But what I like about the museum is, one, it's located right in downtown, so it's near everything. If you want to spend a few hours there with the kids, have fun, and then go out to eat, go catch like a local ball game or just go to some sort of festival going on, it's perfect for that because it's all within walking distance for everything. Another thing that's a big bonus is anybody with kids knows that sometimes it's hard to keep kids occupied. So you go to the museum and everything that's set up there, they have multiple helpers. So they have lots of employees that'll actually help the kids do arts and crafts, teach them what to do. So you let them be a little bit independent of you. They don't have to be so hands-on with you, but they can be hands-on with the employees. And the things that are set up, whether it's from arts and crafts or different things, how magnets work or lights or water features or things like that, it's all geared for kids to actually learn themselves, to actually embrace themselves in it and understand how everything works without having to have an adult help them at all times. So, great experience there. We actually had a lot of fun. They do have a little restaurant in there if the kids get hungry and want to eat. It's catered heavily towards kids, obviously, and families. But even as an adult, it'll be a little bit odd going there without a kid. But there's actually some cool little things you learn there, little experiments that I actually learned myself that were kind of neat to actually understand, and stuff that you can actually do with your kids at home and teach them a little bit about science and things along those lines. But great experience. If you want to do there for a quick stop, after that you can go anywhere you want in downtown Akron, because like I said, it's all within walking distance. the John S. Knight Convention Center is our next stop. I don't really need to explain what it is. It's a convention center. It's in the name of it itself. What's really cool about it though is it's near downtown Akron, just like several of these places. So if you're kind of catching on to the theme here, there's a lot of places to go locally in Akron to where you can actually do walking distance. You don't have to drive everywhere. But each weekend, sometimes during the week, they offer different festivities, things that you can do at the convention center. So if you're just looking for something different to do each weekend, you always can look up online and see what they have available, see what's going on at that point. My favorite thing that they do every year is Akron Children's Hospital is right in downtown Akron. They're very well known nationwide, but the convention center actually hosts a Christmas spectacular each year for them. And they put up tons and tons of different decorated Christmas trees, and it's just a really good experience to walk through, kind of see, get that Christmas feeling, see the lights and the decorations, and people sell things there. And the best part of all is it's all for charity. It's for the Akron Children's Hospital to help the kids. So I mean, it's a great experience to go to, whether you want to donate extra to the charity or not. I would just highly recommend experience it. And if you don't go for the Christmas time, take a look at all the other events they have going on. I'm sure you can find something that works for you. These last two on the list are a little bit different situation. We'll get to the last one here shortly. A lot of people will probably recognize it, but just kind of, it'd be cool to see it. But the one I'm talking about now is the Firestone Country Club. Now, that is not located in downtown Akron. It's a little outside of Akron, in the Akron vicinity, in the Akron area, but you will have to drive there. So here's what's great about the Firestone Country Club. Obviously, if you're a golf fan, a huge bonus. They have a membership there, several $1,000s. No problem, you can join, you can choose not to join. They have great food there if you go to the restaurants. But what's really cool about the Akron Firestone Country Club is that until recently, they were actually a host of a professional golf tournament association. So the PGA actually held a tournament there every year, and one of the big guests that would always show up is Tiger Woods, which, everybody knows who Tiger Woods is. But it was really crazy because it's one of the tournaments that he would win like every single year. He won, I believe, like 6 or 7 times he won at that tournament. It may have even been in a row if I'm not mistaken. But as me being a golfer, I enjoy doing golf. They have a private course and a public course. As the private course, I can't get on unless I have a friend take me that has a membership there. I chose that I wasn't going to use the country club enough, so paying the actual fee to be a part of a member didn't make a whole lot of sense. But the public course is one of the nicest public courses around. It's better than a lot of places that you pay a lot more money for, and they're very reasonably priced. So if you just want to get out there, go to the driving range they have, learn a little bit of golf, just kind of understand a little bit of golf, history, tournaments, things like that, or just kind of go check it out because Tiger Woods played there. That'd be cool too. Not for everybody, but some of you will probably really enjoy it. This last one is going to be very similar to like the Goodyear AIRDOCK for the blimp. The reason why is it's not something you're going to actually necessarily be able to do. You're not going to be able to take a big tour. You're only going to be there for maybe 5 or 10 minutes at the most. But what it actually is associated with this guy right here. That's right. We're talking about LeBron James, world famous basketball player. LeBron actually grew up in Akron, was raised and born in Akron, and then played for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And for those who didn't know, most people do. But he built this house a few years back. And the house I'm going to show you here is 30,000 square feet. Absolutely massive. He spent almost $10 million for it. And it's not so much that you can really tour it or go check it out, but it's just nice to drive by. It's literally just off the back of the road. It's right off the road. So when you drive by it, there's a guard shack that is, a lot of people say it's bigger than a lot of houses and apartments, so the guard shack is massive. But it's just kind of cool how unique this house is, how massive it is. What's really bizarre about it is that he built this house around a bunch of like $200,000 houses. So he really is like this monstrous thing right in the middle of a smaller neighborhood. Not really sure why he did that. But you will have to drive there. It's not in downtown. It takes about 20 minutes outside of Akron to get there. And the reason why I put it as part of this Akron video is because he's from Akron and people are really familiar with who he is. But if you decide to take a trip there, you can actually look up the address right online. And on top of that, literally 5 minutes away from there is absolutely everything. They have what's called Restaurant Hill, where they have some fantastic restaurants up on those giant hills where you can actually overlook the city. But anything you can imagine, every store, every restaurant, everything is around that area. So it's really just a cool site to visit for 5 minutes, drive past it, check it out. Well, I had a lot of fun showing these to you guys because honestly I can be bored out of my mind sometimes as well, and I'll ask my wife what she's up to doing and somehow we never figure it out some days. But I'm glad I took this tour with you guys. I'm glad I had the chance to show you a lot of different things. Hopefully I brought some things to your attention that you can actually try out, keep yourself occupied, have some fun, whether it's you and a significant other, you and a spouse, kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, whatever works for you. So if you guys want to stay up to date, contact me at any time. But if you want to stay up to date with everything, you can click on subscribe again, click the little bell so you get notified of all the new videos. I'm going to be releasing new ones every single week. You can reach me at any time. I'm constantly working with new clients that are calling me to relocate to the area, relocating out of the area, buying, selling, relocating out of state, coming from out of state, all sorts of people. And I absolutely love it. I love what I do for a living. And you can ask any of my clients. It really shows what I enjoy doing. But check out my pages, check out all the videos we'll be posting, keep up to date with everything. If there's anything I can ever do for you, reach out, text message me, email me, call me. Like I said, even send the pigeon carrier if you want. What's it called? Carrier pigeon? Yeah, carrier pigeon, that's right. But until then, I look forward to seeing you on the next video, and I'm out.